intro slide where we can introduce ourselves. But for your people, I'm Melissa. Hi, welcome. So happy y'all are here.
For your people, I'm Tatiana.
So Tatiana and I used to work together at Greenville Tech. We were instructors there. She went through the program.
Let me start. Melissa was my instructor first, when I first started, and she was tough, but she was good. She kept us in line, but she was an amazing instructor. She explains things in such simple terms that you can understand, and I love that about her. And then when I finished the program and then came back and taught, our head of department retired, Melissa took that position, and then she became my boss.
Yeah. I don't feel like I was much of a boss. It was more like we were like surviving together, but
we were surviving together. There was a semester where it was just the two of us.
It was fun. We had a really good time. So, yeah, so we have both been doing this for a very long time and have been around the block, so to speak, and have worked in all sorts of different environments and with all sorts of different clients. And so we were, again, kind of just sharing some stuff. You wrote this beautiful blog post about why a lot of times New Year's resolutions fail. And I was kind of thinking, I think I'd maybe done a post or something similar. And so it's interesting because right before we got on, I was looking on Instagram, and there's this group that I follow called New Shoe that I really like. And they had a post that said, what if you focus this year on intentions instead of resolutions? And the point they were saying is that it's the difference. And I was like, oh, this really like captures what I think me and Tatiana are trying to say is the difference with that is that you're focused more on the journey than just the destination. And I know I'm super guilty of saying like, this year I'm gonna whatever, throw out some big goal without really knowing like how I'm gonna get there. And then I don't do it. And then the danger in that is then you can start to feel discouraged or feel like, you know, it kind of beats you down a little bit. So I think the questions we're going to go through tonight help you to kind of look back. And I always say to look at things with compassionate curiosity instead of, you know, any sort of shame or beating yourself up. So you're looking back with like some interest into what works, maybe what didn't, and then we'll come up with some goals.
Yeah, you could definitely learn along the way.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't accomplish that particular task that you wanted, like you said, don't beat yourself up, just learn from it. And then see what you can do better the next day or the next week or so on.
100%. So, all right, I'm going to do a quick screen share and go through the questions. I have them on slides because I'm, as Tatiana knows, do everything on slides. All right, hopefully y'all can see that. So this picture, this is back when we worked together at Greenville Tech. And I'm trying to think, Tatiana, this was probably like 2009. I think this was before I had Riley, my oldest daughter. She's 11, but I don't know. Do you remember what year this was?
I should have looked in the picture when I sent it to you because the date's on it.
It was a while ago.
Halloween. It was Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2009.
Yeah.
No, it was 2010 because I graduated in 9. So it was 2010.
Okay. Gosh, so that was now like 11, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
We look exactly the same. So, yeah, we were dressed up as 90s workout girls. But I love this picture because it's funny, but also because, again, as I was saying before, like we've been doing this for a while. And so, you know, we've kind of seen some things that work, some things that don't, had our own experiences. So that's kind of what we wanted to do with this session. So again, for those of you that are joining kind of from my side of things, Tatiana, you know, is in Greenville, South Carolina, which I know some of you guys are. And then she works at Fitness with a View, which has a bunch of Greenville Tech people and is awesome. Mm-hmm. And I'll give you guys the information for that just in case you're curious, because they have a couple different locations. And then for those of you that don't know me, I'm a certified personal trainer, nutrition coach through Precision Nutrition. And I'm right now working on becoming an intuitive eating counselor. So I'm going through that certification, which I absolutely love. There's 3 steps. I'm through 2 of them. So I'll be finished up at the beginning of March with that. So that's just a little bit about us. Okay. So let's start with the reflections. And again, there were so many, but these were 5 that really Tatiana kind of pulled out that she really liked. And I'll kind of we'll kind of go back and forth and just talk about them a little bit, but give you guys just a second to think about these as we go through. And I love we're starting with one that's positive. So the first one, what was your biggest triumph in 2021? So again, I think it's so easy to look at all the things we didn't do or did quote unquote wrong. And I love starting with something that's positive.
And even if it's just something small, but to you, you know, it was like, okay, I'm happy I accomplished that. That's worth a lot, especially to kind of like continue that feeling going into the next year.
And I think too, with this one, it doesn't have to be necessarily an outcome that you accomplished. It could be some sort of like habit or something that you implemented in on a regular basis. I mean, even if it was like going to bed earlier or, you know, drinking more water or something, it doesn't have to be that there was some big outcome to it. It could just be something that you implemented in. And if y'all have any questions, or Tatiana, can you see the chat at all? Oh, wait, no, I can see it too. If y'all have any questions, or if you want to comment on any of these, don't feel like you have to, because I know they're personal, but you can pop something in the chat. And also, just in case you missed it, I put a link to all the questions in there too. Okay. The next one, I love this. Who were the 3 people with the biggest impact on your life in 2021?
They always say, you know, I've heard on and off that we are the sum of that 5 people that we surround ourselves with. So obviously we want to be surrounded by people that inspire us, that, you know, want to make us be a better person in whatever aspect of your life. I actually, you know how you get those memories in Facebook? I got one from a few years ago, and I made a post at the end of the year of exactly this: 3 people that were a huge impact in my life that year. So that's why I like this question. Just who's out there rooting for you, wanting the best for you, checking on you, asking you what they can do for you. With this last year for me was a tough year, and that was so important for me to have that support and people that just were there rooting for me and helping me out. So, it feels good to have people like that in your life.
I think too, just to be honest, you could, you know, it could be somebody that had a negative impact on your life, you know, meaning that if there's a relationship that is draining, or somebody that's pulling you in a direction you don't want to go, or, you know, taking a lot of your mental energy, it can be just worth noting. And it doesn't necessarily mean you can't have that person in your life, but I think it's worth noting if you have some of those kind of relationships, and just thinking about how you want to proceed with those going forward.
Well, it can teach you that you can, like you said, you can still have these people in your life, but then you have to set boundaries.
Yeah.
And be strong within those, you know, those convictions of, you know, your boundaries, and stand your ground.
Yeah.
But they do make an impact on your life, because it makes you realize that about yourself.
Yeah, I think you could almost split this up. Like, who are the 3 people that impacted you in a positive way? And you could even split up, were there 3 people that impacted you in a, I don't want to say negative way, but just maybe not pulling you in the direction you want to go? It's just worth noting. All right. The next one, I love this. Okay. I love them all. What is your biggest piece of unfinished business in 2021? I just love the wording of that, because it's not like, what was your failure or what did you not accomplish? It leaves it open to, it can still be finished, hopefully.
Yeah. Just because the year's over, it doesn't mean that you can't continue that project or working on that going into the new year.
So what's that thing that it's so interesting, because as soon as I read this, something popped up for me, and I was like, oh, that is definitely something that is pulling at me, you know, continuing to pull at me. So Could be something you started, something that you just started and then stopped, or something that you just didn't quite finish within the year. All right. And then the last one, is this the last one or is this the fourth one? I think this is the fourth one. Biggest lesson you learned in 2021. Which is kind of straightforward, I think. Do you have any thoughts on that one, Tatiana? Or what was the reason you really liked this one?
Well, you can learn lessons from so many aspects of your life, right? Whether at work or family, or even in this era of the pandemic, you know, just how to deal with people in general. So I think that this one can be applied to so many of different aspects, especially with what we're going through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like unfortunately sometimes the lessons are learned through hard stuff instead of the easy stuff. So, all right, awesome. And then this should be the last one, I think. So was there an old skill or like what new or old skill did you dive into in 2021? So was there something that you learned? And I feel like even if, like you said before, even if it's something really small, there's probably something that you learned, whether it was something with health and wellness or something outside of that. Trying to think.
And I think a skill can also be something artistic. That's what drew me to that, because I feel like even if somebody feels like they're not an artistic person, there's so many avenues, and that just creates so much mental health. Mm-hmm. When you have an escape of that sort, whether it's like learning a new instrument or going and learning a new language, or coloring books. You know, they have those coloring books for adults, or going to those paint places.
I did the paint by numbers. Yeah. I don't know if I accomplished it as a skill,
you know,
but
there's you know, information out there to tell you that can help just your creativity in and of itself. And a lot of the times we focus so much on work and what we have to do at home with our families and cooking dinner and just surviving day in and day out, that we forget to feed that creative side.
Yeah.
So that's one of my goals this year, is to work on feeding my creative side, for sure.
Love that. Yeah, I was going to say, like, for me, when this first popped up, I was like, gosh, I don't know that I feel like I dove into a skill per se. Like, I'm sure I could think of some things that I learned just from life, but I like it because, again, it's focusing on something positive, but then it also can make you think of something maybe you want to. It can almost like transition you into thinking about the next year and what you want to maybe accomplish. All right, awesome sauce. So those are the 5 reflections. Any other thoughts on those, Tatiana, before we?
No, I think we can move on to the intentions.
Okay. So kind of going along with what we said with the first one, with reflections, what was your biggest triumph in 2021? What would you like your biggest triumph to be in 2022? And again, what I would emphasize here is that it doesn't have to be some big outcome goal. It doesn't have to be run a marathon or whatever. It can be, being consistent with some sort of habit or behavior that you feel would be beneficial for you. It can be something super small. It can be like cleaning out the junk drawer or something. It doesn't have to be some big, life altering thing. But if something pops up that, you're just like, oh, I really do want to do that big thing.
They do say, though, that if you're feeling down, if you're feeling sad or depressed, go clean out a closet or go clean out a drawer, and it will make you feel so much better.
Yeah.
So that's a big triumph right there. In itself.
We cleaned out the playroom last week, and it was like so horrible while we were doing it, and then it was done. I was like, I feel like a different person. Okay. The next one. Oh, I love this one. All right. What advice would you like to give yourself for 2022? So, yeah, go ahead.
I think this one ties in with what lessons did you learn in 2021? And then from learning from those lessons, you can be like, okay, then this is what I would tell my 2022 self of what I learned from those lessons.
Yeah. I love the idea of like thinking of you a year from now and like what you would want to tell that version of yourself, and like imagining that she has accomplished that goal or that thing that you want to get done. What would you tell her if you knew that was possible? So let's just say it is, I'm just going to let's just say it's run a marathon. What is the you right now going to tell her to help her get to that goal? Almost like, how would you, like if you were your own therapist or your own coach or your own trainer, like what would you say? Because I what I love about this too is that like I truly believe, and I always tell my clients, I think that they have an inner wisdom. They really know what's best for them, and I'm just kind of there to like be a part of the journey. And so I think when you connect back to that inner wisdom, you do oftentimes know the answers. And so that's what I love about this question. All right. What brings you joy, and how are you going to have more of that in 2022? So for those of you,
I like this question because you're all about the joy. I remember you making a post. That's your middle name. Right? So you gravitate to that, and I think and I mentioned it earlier. We get so wrapped up in all our to-dos all day long that we just forget to add joy to our life, or we're just not mindfully, because you do have to be mindful to add these tidbits of moments to your life. And then just seeing the joy in everything.
And I think we feel like, especially as women, I think we feel so guilty when we do things intentionally that bring us joy. I know I do. I'm thinking of all the things I should be doing. But I think like one of the things I've been learning more and more is the more that the more that you are joyful, the more you attract more joy into your life. And then things actually are easier. So for those of you that aren't in my program, all my programs have joy. It's like joyful transformation or joyful journey or joyful eating, because I think for so many women, the health fitness journey is wrought with a lot of, pain and suffering and, feeling like we have to like starve ourselves and work ourselves to death. And so the big message that I'm always trying to teach is like, if you can come from a baseline of joy around it, and it's not always going to be easy and fun, like we're being realistic, but if you're coming from a place of joy and doing things that bring you joy, movement that brings you joy, it makes the process and the journey so much more fun. And then ironically, so much easier. You're like reaching your goals so much faster. And you're like, oh, that was way better. So I think it's given ourselves permission to feel that.
I like that. Joyful journey.
Mm-hmm.
Joyful journey.
Joyful journey. All right. Love it. Love it. Okay. Who or what other than yourself are you most committed to loving and serving in 2022? So good. Gets you out of your own, gets me out of my own head, I should say. Tell me why you like this one.
Because I think we're meant to be in this world to serve others and help make others' lives better. Yeah. I know that you and I do in what we do. Yeah. I mean, it's still what we do for a living, but we do it because we love seeing other people's success. We're rooting for them. We want the best for them, and we have the skills and the tools and the experience to make that happen. So I think that if you go into what you do with a servant's heart, you're going to be a lot more successful at it. And in turn, going back to our previous question, I think it's going to bring, I feel like it's going to bring joy into your life.
Yeah. Plus for me, it just gets me out of my own head. Like I can just get stuck in my own like mind muck, and like all the things that I'm not doing right or, aren't going right. And then I feel like the moment I shift it to something or somebody else, not in a people pleasing way, but just in a like serving way, then it's like, oh, I feel so much better. It's kind of almost like selfish because it does truly make you feel better. Love it. Okay. I think this is the last one. And this is one we wanted to expand on just a bit. And I'm sure you guys have seen all the posts about this. People are always saying their word for the year. So yeah, what one word would you like to have as your theme? Or it could be, I guess, a phrase or something like that. But most people pick like a word that's, you know, their focus for the year.
Did you see that email I sent you, Melissa?
Yes.
Yeah, tons and tons of words by alphabetical order that you can go through. If you can't think of one off the top of your head, that you can comb through and see what strikes you.
Let me see if I can pull it up really quick because there were.
Yeah, I sent that earlier. Because actually going through that list, I saw a couple that I was like, oh, I hadn't thought about that. And I feel like that fits me going into 2022.
Yeah, there was a ton. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up really quick. Yeah, hold on. Okay. Let me get back into a screen share. So hopefully y'all can see this, but we can email this out, or I'll put it into a Google Doc and I'll share it.
It goes in alphabetical order. So
I don't want to go
too long list.
Yeah, there's a lot. I'll just kind of quickly go through. We won't spend too much time, but y'all can see. I like bliss. Boldness would be one for me. There's some areas I want to be bolder in for sure.
The one that struck me was awaken.
Ooh.
Just, yeah, awaken was a big one for me.
Yeah, there's some really good ones. So we can put this into something and send it out to you guys. So the last thing I would say, hold on, let me pull back up. Before we get into, I'll show you guys how to do like a virtual vision board.
I'm excited about this, the virtual vision board.
And it's so easy. On that note, taking kind of all that together, all those, I guess basically 10 things or 10 questions, thinking about now intentions that you have for yourself going into 2022. So again, the difference with intention versus, let's say, resolution is more of what sort of focusing more on the journey and the process, the habits. Again, doesn't mean you can't have an outcome goal, of course, you know, but if you can mix it in with some things that you want to do for yourself on a continuous basis that you know make you feel good, make you feel better. And then I'll show you how to incorporate those into the vision board. So I would say, and the thing I know with setting goals is that there's a really good book. It's called, what is it called? Oh, it's like the power of it's like the power of simple or something. That's not what it is. But he talks a lot about how he's accomplished all these goals, but what he does is he focuses on one thing at a time. And I know I'm really bad at having like 5, big goals at a time. But if you can have like one main thing that you really, really want to accomplish. Now, the other things could be supportive of that, but there's one thing you're really, really focused on. And then, once you've done that, or once you've got that down, then you focus on, maybe the next one with a little bit more intention. So obviously you can be juggling more than one thing, but even if it's just one thing, and this is our information, but I'll come back to this. So let me show you guys really quick how to do the vision board, just in case you want. Now, obviously you can always just get a poster board or, a Pinterest board and put some visuals, but there is something really, really powerful about, number one, writing things down, and then number two, obviously having the visuals for your brain to really see. So there's 2 stories. One, I had this client for years, and she was this very successful businessman. This was actually when I was still back in Greenville. And he would every year, actually his wife made him do it, which is funny, but every year on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, they would write down 3, intentions for the year. and they would write on a piece of paper, put it in an envelope, seal the envelope, stick it in a desk. And he wouldn't look at it again. And sometimes he would even forget what he had written, but then they would pull it out, you know, the next New Year's Eve, and they would open up and see. And he almost every single year, without even realizing it, would have accomplished everything that he put on his list. And I think it just showed the power of setting that intention and writing it down in that way and being, you know, really purposeful about it. So I always love that story. It's always stuck with me. And then there's another great story about a guy that did a vision board, and he, you know, he had a bunch of different things on there, but he had this picture of a house, and, you know, he had put the vision board, you know, he looked at it for a long time, but then he had put it away. And years later, he's getting ready to move to a new house, and his son comes in, he was packing up some boxes, and his son pulls out the old vision board. The picture on the vision board was the exact same house they were about to move into. Like, not similar, the exact same house. He didn't even realize it. So there is something really powerful about, you know, having something just every day that your brain is like being reminded of. So, okay, so what I'm in to do this is called Canva. See if I can get out of there we go, sorry. And you can set up a free account. It's called canva.com, C-A-N-V-A. Y'all can see it right up here. So I'm going to go to the home button. Now, mine will look just a little different because I pay a little bit for it. So there'll be some things that are accessible to me that you may not see, but they have tons of free stuff. So what I did is I just went in here where it says search the content, and you can put in like vision board, or you could put in like photo collage, and it's going to bring up some templates here. So you just pick one, and you can see as long as it says free, those will be, you know, available. So pick one that just feels fun, feels good for you. So I'll just pick this one right here. I actually really like this vision board. Like I like a lot of stuff on here. So I would just click on the words. I would just change it to like 2022. And then what you can do, these preset pictures, I mean, obviously if you like them, great. But if you just click on them and click delete, the picture they have will come out, and you'll see this little thing here. So what this means is it's a place for a photo. So look, Tatiana, be creative. It's already there for you.
So Melissa, can I go on Google Images, save a photo, and then upload that to that particular slot?
You can actually, do y'all see here on the side where it says photos? These are all photos that they already have. So, and they're not all free if you end up downloading them, but let's just say you want to do a photo of painting. I don't know. You want to paint this year. You can see they'll have some like free photos that pop up. So you just pick one that you like, you pop it in there, and then you just hover it over that thing, and it'll pop it into the thing. Now, if you wanted to do that, Tatiana, you totally can. You would just go to uploads here. Okay. Like, so for instance, I grabbed this one off of a site called Unsplash. I love Unsplash. They have tons of free photos too. I just downloaded it to my computer, and then you just click upload media, and you can.
Unsplash, UN.
SP, whatever, SPLASH. But they have a ton in here if you just want to keep it simple. So maybe I want to run a 5K, so I might put running, you know, and you can find a picture that you like, and then you can just pop it in there, and then you can just double click like you would on, you know, anything else. And
could you do like writing on it, like underneath the person writing? Could you do like 5K?
Yeah. So if you didn't have something already, like I could just change this. I just double click and click 5K
by November.
By November.
Okay.
But if for some reason they
like a little bit more specific if you wanted to.
Yeah. Or if you just go here to where it says text, you can insert, you know, some text and add that as well.
Oh.
So it's really user friendly. you know.
And then does it give you the option of saving it to your phone or printing it?
Yes. So once you've got it where you want it to be, you go here to download. You can choose, like, if you want it to be a picture, or if, let's say, for some reason you wanted it to be a PDF, or you could even do like a little, you know, video if it had little video things in it. They'll tell you what they suggest, and then you can just click download. And you can do that from your phone too if you have the Canva app. So like I sent stuff to you today through Canva, just downloaded it to my phone. I do that sometimes for social media as well. But it's free, it's easy, and then you can download it and put it as your screensaver, put it in a special, you know, file on your phone or on your computer or something where, you know, you'll see it. You can obviously print it out, hang it up. I think they even have a thing where you can, like, let's see. I think you can like send it somewhere and have it like printed out. Or you can make it into a t-shirt. You have all sorts of options. So, but yeah, canva.com. You can create a free account. They may even do like a 30-day free trial or 14-day free trial if you wanted to do that, and then cancel it just so you get all the options. But you do get a lot with the free one. And it just makes it, to me personally, I'm like a very visual person. So I want things to be pretty. And, you know, as y'all can tell, like I like to do like the slides and the things, because I think when we're seeing it and, you know, talking about it, all of that together helps our brain really connect to it a little bit more. Cool. Does anybody have any questions about that?
No, but I did want to add one thing, just the power of verbalization as well. And you can incorporate that with a vision board. Like when you see your vision board, say it out loud. Like, I'm going to run a 5K by November. I'm going to be debt-free by the end of the year. Mm-hmm. I am healthy, you know, just whatever your goal is, whatever your is in your vision board, and just every day, you know, verbalize it, manifest it, and your mind's going to start believing it. So between the visualization and the verbalization, there's power in that. There's just tons of power in that.
Yeah. And I like what you said too, where you're saying it as if like it not like I hope to run a 5K, or I'm, you know, I'm going to try to run a 5K. It's like, I will, you know, just
I will.
I am.
That, like, yeah. So by November, I will be running a 5K, or yeah. So and just be mindful not to use words like, I will not be sick, you know, something like that. Just don't use any negative, saying I will be healthy.
Yeah.
So there's a difference mentally when you use those words.
Love that.
There's power in that.
So good. Yay. All right, guys. Hopefully y'all found this helpful. I'm excited to go like download the journal and do it myself and do my vision.
Yeah. Got some homework tonight, but no, thank you all for joining us very much.
And really quick, I was going to, just in case if y'all do have any questions, let me put our information up there. Wait, where did it go? Intentions and reflections. Okay. And now I've lost it. But you can, yeah, if you need my help with, you know, anything with the vision board or whatever, it's really easy. It's Melissa at melissaadrian.com. And I know my people have it, or feel free to text me. And then Tatiana's information is here as well. If you have any questions, if you're in the Greenville area and want to check out Fitness with a View, which is awesome. And it has a view. You get to work out and
yes,
scenery.
Yes. And even if you guys just want to come check it out, please shoot me a text or email. Would love to have you come over and take a look at the gym. Yeah. Our Hartness location is the one that has a view. Our downtown, we're working on that. We're building a new facility towards Furman on Poised Highway. So that's a year from now. But we're still at the downtown location, which is very convenient. It's in the basement of the SunTrust building. but it's super convenient. So I am going to miss that about that location is just the convenience to downtown. But obviously Poinsett Highway is not too far from there. And it is going to have more of a view and outdoor. And actually is going to be right off an extension to the Swamp Rabbit Trail.
So cool. Love it.
Love it.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, Susan. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, Carol. Thanks, Jana.
And we'll hopefully talk to y'all soon. Bye.
Bye.